Hi, I am Jen Gastelum. I am the Community Engagement Specialist at Mesa Arts Center, and this is the second video in a series of 4 for the Together in the Desert family takeout night for downtown Mesa. So today I'm going to guide you through an easy art activity that you can do in your home using things that you have around the house. And I'll just walk you through it. You can pause when you need to and go back whenever you need to as well. So we will go ahead and get started. Today we're going to make basically a hanging art piece, and what you'll need is plastic container. Really, anything works. I used a bunch of the containers you get your fruit, your strawberries and your blueberries in, but also to-go containers work as well, so really any flat surfaced clear plastic container is what you're looking for. You'll also need a good pair of scissors to get that thing broken down. You'll need Sharpies, but water-based markers also work well. If you're using Sharpies, you'll need alcohol. White printer paper is helpful to have so you can sort of see what you're doing. A straight stick that's been cleaned off of all of its pieces, all of its extra limbs and dirt, and then paintbrush and brush is optional, and string or wire for the end, and a hole punch is also really helpful to have. If you've got all of your materials, you will want to start breaking down your plastic box. So cut it out so that all of the flat pieces remain, so you'll get rid of all those extra pieces, and with those flat pieces you will start cutting out your shapes. As far as the shapes go, you can really go any direction. I would suggest choosing something that's relatively simple to cut out. I went with these kind of dome shapes in a variety of shapes and sizes. Anywhere from 10 to 16 is going to work well for this, and it also sort of depends on the size of the stick that you're using and what the size of the end pieces that you want it to be. So you'll want to stick with pieces that probably about anywhere from 2 to 4 inches tall, and then same with the width. So you'll just kind of go in and it works well if you use sort of a similar shape but go with a bunch of different sizes. So once you've got all of your pieces cut out, this is the fun part. You get to create this really beautiful watercolor effect on these plastic pieces by using either Sharpies and alcohol or a water-based paint with water. So you'll lay out all of your pieces. I would suggest getting them kind of oriented to exactly how you want them to lay on your finished piece, and then you'll see as you're choosing your colors how they're going to lay and hang together. So I really wanted to do kind of a sunset effect, so I chose my Sharpies accordingly and came up with a palette that was going to be representative of sort of the yellows all the way up to the blues. And then I started coloring my plastic pieces from the bottom up to the top with kind of a range of colors and a little bit of like freeform coloring. Once you've got all of your pieces colored, you can use an alcohol dropper or really any way that you can easily drop the liquid on there without pouring too much, because each piece really only needs a couple of drops of alcohol to get the color moving around. Drop alcohol on each of the pieces, and what I like to do is actually just use my finger to dab the color and move it around and blend it together. And that works really well. If you're opposed to using your finger, totally understandable. You don't have to do that. I would suggest probably something that's like not absorbent though. I have tried using a Q-tip and it's not the greatest way to do it because it just sort of absorbs the color and the alcohol. But a paintbrush could probably work, or using gloves covered in paint in different colors. So once you get that color on there and you get the alcohol kind of moving it around and you have the effect that you like, you want to set it aside and let it dry really well before you move on to the next part. While it's drying, you can get to work painting your stick if that's part of the process that you want to include. I wanted my stick to be a little interesting, so I just simply took my stick and some white paint and I painted a solid piece, some stripes, and then just some polka dots on there because I liked how it looked, and I thought it would add to the final piece as like an art display to each of the pieces. So as far as the hole punches, this is where it's really important to make sure that your pieces are oriented exactly how you want them, because this is going to tell you which pieces need 2 holes and which pieces need 1 hole. The pieces on the top and in the middle will need 2 holes. The pieces on the bottom will just need 1. So this will help you as you're cutting out all of your holes or punching your holes to know what to do with each of the pieces. So I just have one of these handy 2-punch hole punchers, and so I was able to go in with each of my pieces and make all of the holes that I needed really easily. After that, I again kept them oriented exactly how I wanted them to look, and then as far as the string goes, I decided to use thread. I had some white thread, and I liked that the thread was going to not change the look of it very much because it was going to be really subtle. If you have a clear string, fishing wire, anything like that, that would be helpful. I've done them with just like a copper wire before, and that works well as well. You can even use like a thin yarn or a thinner type of rope if you want to as well. But I went with the thread, and what you want to do is, this is probably the most tedious part of the whole thing, but you can go in and just tie each of the pieces individually up the line, and then you'll attach them directly to your stick at the end. And then they'll all be hanging on there nice and lovely. And at the very end, whether it's string or wire, you'll want a piece at the top to help hang it so you can put it wherever you want it to go. And you'll just attach that on either side of the stick at the very end. So at the end of it, you'll have this lovely hanging art piece that can go, in your window or just on your wall. And it's really just this pretty watercolor, almost like stained glass looking feel to it. So that is our second piece. It is part of a series, so if you stick with us to the end, the 4th video will take all of the previous 3 pieces and put them together into a final installation that you'll have at home. If you don't stick with us to the end, that's totally okay too. These are intended to be one-off videos so that you at least can make something and be creative in your home with your family. So keep an eye out for the next one every Wednesday for Family Takeout Night. Supporting our local businesses in downtown. Take a picture of what you make and send it to us at engagement@mesaartscenter.com so we can include it in our final installation, which will be on display in one of the vacant windows in downtown as well. You can also use the hashtag Together in the Desert and post it on social media, and we, along with our partners, will post your projects to kind of show off the creativity that we have here in our community. So thanks so much. Hope you all are staying safe, and we'll see you next time.